So, Shova Tov, everybody. Rabbi Mordecai. Rabbi Mordecai Yosef, Ben Amram. I want to just talk a little bit about this book that I have coming out. It's a discussion point. People sending messages and confused about the title. What does it mean? The cover, this. By the way, pre-sales are on Amazon right now for the ebook. And basically, what am I trying to accomplish with this book? What is the point of the book? The title of the book is Systematic Racism is Stopping Space Travel, right? And so that title, is probably invoking for people on both sides, people who would consider themselves conservative, who are very anti, like critical race theory, people who are will be considered more left-wing, more liberal, who are maybe think that maybe I'm trying to like undermine or marginalize it with such a title. So it's like I can't win either way, right? But nevertheless, my job and other people's job is to invoke conversations, right, and to have discussions. And so now what we're dealing with is a huge issue, spiritually, because as we know that everything that I receive is from the Creator, right? Like my money that I receive every year, is determined on Rosh Hashanah for everyone, for every single person on planet Earth. Everything that they will experience for that entire year is created on that day of Rosh Hashanah. So the kavana, the intentions, everything that we have determines that experience for the next 365 days, right? Some people maybe say to Pesach, whatever, but the point is just saying this is the idea, right? So this is what we're up against. This is the challenge, right? And then our health, right? Our health throughout the whole year is also determined on Rosh Hashanah. The security that we experience also is determined on Rosh Hashanah, right? Now, as Jews, we have this responsibility to sanctify the day and to covet and keep the day in the way that, our sages have given us, of how to connect to this day properly as a community, all the way from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. But Rosh Hashanah is the day, right? And so how does this whole idea, me growing up as an African American, how do I understand, the narrative that racism per se is denying me all of these privileges, all these opportunities? How do I take that experience as an African American, or just say American in general, right, and apply that to the Torah and to spiritual life? Now, someone could hear this and say, oh, wow, it seems like he's going down the path of apologetics and we shouldn't be angry and everyone should be focused on Rosh Hashanah. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we live in a reality of cause and effect, right? Everything is cause and effect. Everything that we experience is based on this principle. There's a root cause, and that root cause has an expression, which is an effect. So in this case, we're talking about race and racism, right? So what I want to bring to the table, which is an old truth, existed for thousands of years, that anything that we experience in life is a byproduct of a prior experience, right? A mitzvah brings a mitzvah, a vera brings a vera, right? There's that idea of that there's an original cause and then there's an effect, right? So how does that work with critical race theory? How does that work with systematic racism? How do I understand it? How do I bring my experience as an American, right? Who has parents and grandparents and great-grandparents that experience racism, right? I've experienced racism, right? So how do I couple that with the Torah's knowledge of this idea of understanding that everything is cause and effect? That my thinking process, my makshava, this my kavana, everything that I have, I'm creating reality. Reality isn't happening to me. I'm creating reality. Now, someone could say, oh, he's apologizing this and saying, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the Torah says, the sages teach that we should fight against injustice. We should fight against, wrong, things that are against the Torah, right? Treating people terribly is against the Torah. Discriminating against people is against the Torah, right? So how do I couple that desire to deal with things on a tachlis, hastaglis, on a level? How do I deal with that issue, but at the same time encompass the wisdom of the sages that the Torah gives me this power that Adam, the first man, Adam Rishon had, right? He had the choice to eat from the Eitz HaChaim or the Eitz HaDas, right? He chose his reality. He was given free will. So this book goes into that concept. It allows us to re-understand how the world was created. Why was the world created? These are the things as a global human society we should be discussing, right? We should be discussing why God created reality. Why is there time, space, and motion? Why this whole concept around us? Why do we have the energies of hatred? Why do we have the energies of good? Right? Because we understand through the wisdom of the Torah that I have so much control over reality that I can do certain actions in this physical world through my bechira, through my free will, and that action literally sends a message to the heavens, and the heavens respond. Right? Because the whole system, the Torah is teaching us that the whole system that we live in is almost like you play a video game, right? And a video game has a certain set of rules, what a player can do. If he does this, he gets points. If he does this, he loses life. All these different things. This is a video game, right? So this is the Torah. The Torah is explaining to us how this whole system of reality works. And if we do this, we get points. If we do this, we lose an aspect of our humanness, our life. Right? Spiritually, we could live forever, right? So this is what we're getting into, and I'm going to make a series of videos because we have to just go through this. I'm going to go through the whole book, through these types of conversations. But I want to set that premise. The premise is, what does it look like? Why did God create this world? What is the purpose of this world? Right? What are we supposed to gain from this experience in life? Why do we here? What makes me unique? What makes me important? So anyways, this is the point on this first video, and we're going to go through everything because this is life. This isn't something, like an experience that's over there. This is life, because through this whole experience that God is creating in this generation of race and focusing on race, this is only happening because God wants us to get to the level of seeing each other as souls. He wants all of us to see each other as souls, because every human being has a soul, and every soul is unique. And every soul has a unique expression in this world. So we need to get over and past this level of just seeing each other as race, right? So I'm not discounting that racism exists. I'm not discounting that people need to fight against it. I'm not saying that. But the goal is, where are we going here, right? And how did we get here? And how in line with the way that we're dealing with these things, how in line are they with God's will? Because we are all souls. And so my blessing to everyone this week, right? This is right after Shabbat. We should be invigorated and inspired. Is that we practice, when we see people, to see them as souls. And to look at what's the inner aspect of them. Like in my book, Mind of the Black Jew, in the second chapter, I talk about this 1% and 99% reality, right? Quantum physics, I use quantum physics as a basis, right? The human eye doesn't see, it just absorbs light particles. Images are formed in the back of the brain, right? So the quantum physics is also saying that 1% that we are capturing with our visuals and all of our five senses, there's a whole 99% happening all around us, right? I've been talking about this for years. So this idea of having that understanding that there's a 1% and 99% reality will allow us to understand that the body is 1%. The body is 1%, and the soul is the 99%. I can't per se see the soul of that other person. But if I know that that soul exists, I can imagine. And I can see that there's a connection between us in a unique way. So anyways, we're going to go far. We're going to bring Midrashim. We're going to bring Zohars. We're going to bring the Arizal. We got to bring out the heavy stuff, the heavy weapons, because we're up against the biggest fight. But this isn't a negative thing. This is a transformation of consciousness. And it's not pretty all the time. It's not lovely, but it's true. And so what we're doing now, we're going to explore, we're going to go further, and we're going to re-establish a new thinking process. And this new thinking process is, and this is the blessing. So this week, I want you to see people, everybody that you see, I want you to think about their soul. And I want you to think about the uniqueness of their soul and how that soul has experienced many different lifetimes. And so has your soul. And the fact that you guys met in this lifetime is not by accident. You guys have some type of spiritual work to do with each other. Anyways, that's a bracha for this week. Shabbat Tov.